There it is, dude. All right.
I first played WoW 18 years ago. I've played all expansions since release, but as the game evolved, it became something I no longer recognized. Until in 2019, when Blizzard made a decision no one ever thought they would. They re-released the original game. Vanilla is and will always be my favorite iteration of the game. No flying mounts, less endgame focused, more open world. For me, Vanilla felt about as close to perfect as an MMO can be. And let me tell you, when it came back, it wasn't just me who felt that way. Classic success might have been a surprise for Blizzard, but for us, it was inevitable.
Did you find alternatives to Cinnamon Challenge yet? Nah, I didn't know yet.
Is there a future for Classic? And what exactly would that look like?
What is going to happen after Classic WoW?
The idea of Classic Plus had been brewing online for years, and in 2023, I made a video about it.
Yo, this video was great, man. Holy fuck.
Damn, that hyped me up for Classic Plus even more now.
This is a really good video, man.
The video was received pretty well, but not by everyone. Imagine having faith in Blizzard. Delusional Classic players. Sounds lame. Very constructive, dude, thanks a lot. For some, it was impossible to believe. But at BlizzCon 2023, it became a little bit less impossible. Season of Discovery promised the beginning of a new era.
I remember that announcement. It was kind of hype.
A testing ground for what Classic Plus could become. But what happens when you change something that's already so close to perfect? Is there a chance the game could be ruined in the process? What does this mean for the future of Classic? This is the Classic Plus dilemma. I've said it before and I'll say it again. There really is something different about Classic. There are very few games that have stood the test of time for this long, and everyone has their own opinion on why that is. This is one of the main counter-arguments against Classic Plus. How can Blizzard make alterations to a game so beloved by millions and not alienate half the community in the process? Some people want new dungeons and raids. Some people want to explore unfinished zones and quests. And some people want the game to evolve into TBC+. So who does Blizzard listen to? Do they...
I think a lot of people stopped in P3. I stopped in P3. I don't want to start again, so we definitely will give it a go again soon.
They listen to their core Classic audience, or do they risk fundamentally changing the game in hopes of bringing in a new, potentially bigger crowd? The truth is, I don't even think Blizzard knows yet. This seems to be the core design philosophy behind Season of Discovery. Throw enough shit at the wall, and surely something will stick, right? Or is there a possibility that it could divide the community more than ever?
Have you ever wondered what it might be like to be a tanking warlock?
No.
Or take on the role of a mage healer?
Oh, what the heck? We are leaving the door open to the possibility of completely new experiences and the prospects of exploring previously unfinished or unused locales for future raid and dungeon content.
Oh my God, that's Classic Plus!
I know.
Or is it?
I feel like I was so disappointed with like Sod not actually doing that, right? Like he was going about, oh yeah, developing like previously unexplored and finished locations and whatnot, and it's like they kind of did the crypts, but not really, because they just stuck a load of mobs down there, basically, right? And turned it into a dungeon. It's just like I feel like the team just isn't big enough to actually do that. Volume up the video player, yeah, but then it's giga loud for me.
See,
it should
when
already
you
be
push
loud.
the game this far, you're going to attract a different sort of crowd. The kind of crowd who enjoys how different it feels, who likes the homogenization of classes, the hyper-focus on endgame, and the abundance of quality of life.
A lot of people are enjoying Season of Discovery. Even retail Andes who have never played Classic WoW before.
Now all of a sudden, the Classic community is split perfectly down the middle. Suddenly we have new voices contributing to the Classic Plus discussion. and a seasonal server purely dedicated to finding out what the community wants for Classic Plus makes that question all the more difficult to answer.
This is exactly the reason why I stopped playing SOD.
This is one of the most fun times that you could ever have playing World of Warcraft Classic.
This is why you don't do band-aid fixes, man. Like, oh my gosh.
The season discovery shit is actually hype.
Does the team even PvP?
How would I approach Classic Plus if I was in charge?
We're more divided as a WoW community than I've ever seen.
Minimal changes. Otherwise, you have SOD.
Despite the season's polarizing nature, it's also been a
The
huge
problem.
first
Okay, so here's the problem with Classic Plus. Like, okay, Classic team doing a great job and all, but I don't think that the team that Blizzard has at this point understands the game enough to make changes that are a net positive for the game. Right? In terms of what players want, in terms of whatever. It's like, and because of that, they're doing SOD, right? So that they can just brute force as many fucking random things as possible ahead of time to see what works, because they don't know ahead of, like, they don't understand it enough themselves to do those changes without doing that, right? The player base doesn't even know. This is another thing, right? If you're just gonna sit and ask a shitload of players what they want, you're not gonna get a concrete answer. Okay. Like, they didn't make World of Warcraft originally and ask a load of people like what they wanted and then do that, right? They had vision and they had a plan for it and they had an idea and they understood to a degree what they wanted to get out of it. So now what they have to do, because they don't have the same level of devs in terms of understanding of the game, like if you compare, like for example, TBC, right? Whoever the priest dev was for TBC was an absolute goat, because at 60, you felt like priest was really fun, but it was kind of missing something, but you didn't really know what. And then the TBC dev comes out and you get like shit like fucking Death and Pom, and it just fits like so well into the priest kit and just makes them even more fun. And he came up with that stuff, right? Out of nowhere, right? He knew what the class needed and he made some fucking spells up and they fit into it, and it just felt like you almost always should have had them, right? That level of understanding of the game and the classes, I feel like just isn't present now. So we have to have the brute force like approach that they have with SOD. And I just don't think that they have the team is just not big enough to be able to do that on enough of a scale to make it an efficient way of making Classic Plus. So I don't know. I mean, I heard that they are. We read the Gred post a couple of days ago, last week, something like that, about how they're expanding team size for design and stuff. So we'll see. Just throwing everything against the wall and seeing what's up. Yeah, but it's just a really inefficient way of doing it, right?
Step in the realization of Classic Plus. And as we've seen the Classic team grow and grow since its inception, it's clear that it's a concept that Blizzard have started to take seriously. But no matter what the Classic team does, they're going to upset someone. They've been given the impossible task of taking the most renowned and respected MMO of all time and making it better. And while it might seem simple, I think you'll be surprised at how many circles of players out there are pining for different things. The weight
It's not
of that
an easy task
responsibility
by any means,
alone
right?
is immense. So how do the developers decide where to focus their limited resources? Well, there is a solution to this, and I'll get to that later. But for now, we need to talk about what is, in my opinion, the most fundamentally important factor in guaranteeing the longevity of Classic Plus. Historically, WoW has always developed and distributed content in cycles, be it from fresh servers where everyone starts from level 1, or expansions that more or less trivialize all the content before it.
This is a major problem with vertical design. It invalidates old content extremely quickly.
This is Blizzard's biggest issue when it comes to Classic Plus. If WoW sticks to its predominantly vertical design, we risk falling into the same trap, with an ever-expanding power level that will eventually invalidate the older content in the same way as other MMOs do.
New content doesn't become more of the game, it sometimes becomes the only part of the game worth doing.
Fresh servers are also bustling with activity in the first few months, but eventually players run out of content and resort to raid logging while awaiting future patches.
You've cleared the raid, you've seen every possible bit of PvE content that there is.
I mean, is catch up a mistake then in that case? Right? Like if you don't have to go through old content anymore because there's new content, is that a problem with catch-up mechanics?
There's still something to do. Doesn't seem like it has that.
A horizontal design, by contrast, would focus on adding evergreen, supplemental content that enriches the existing ecosystem without overshadowing it. This kind of design can prevent raid logging by giving players more content that isn't time-gated. And when it does come to new raids in Classic Plus,
I don't want them to add content onto the top of WoW and then increase the power creep even more. It's going to spin out of control and it's going to be stupid.
Instead of stacking more power on top of what already exists, rewards should offer different power. Unique set bonuses tailored to different playstyles, distinct item benefits, or rare cosmetic items.
What if there was a new set of gear that was in the game that wasn't really that much stronger than the next set, but it gave you more build variety and it allowed you to do different things with your class?
So how should Blizzard find new ideas for horizontal content? Steal them. They gotta fucking steal. The funny thing is, this is exactly what Blizzard did to create WoW in the first place. They took concepts and systems from other MMOs and made them more
isn't
digestible.
that the same with any design though? Like it's pretty rare that there's a big fucking new unique idea. Most stuff is like you steal a bit and then you add your own like spin on it and it adapts and it evolves. And then over time people keep doing that and then you get different shit, right? Everyone is just stealing other people's stuff and putting their own spin on it. So like, I feel like that shouldn't be.
Blizzard has always done so well over the years.
I don't think that should ever be like a frowned upon concept.
Is take types of games that have previously appealed only to a narrow audience and make them accessible to a broader audience.
We were playing EverQuest Ultima Online, and we thought, you know what, we could do that. Why don't we make one of these? This is awesome. I mean, why don't we make a game that we love?
You couldn't help but play it and say, well, this could be improved, or we could spin the content this way.
Every single piece of art that has ever existed has been in some way inspired by someone or something else. And in my opinion, WoW's fundamental design philosophy has to change if Classic Plus is to thrive. Thankfully, there are games to draw from in the MMO landscape. Those are the games we need to look to. We can look to old school RuneScape for their solo content and player agency, or look at Guild Wars 2 for their map completion and exploration content. And finally, look at private servers. Henhouse created a space for the vanilla PvP community with its dueling server. And Turtle WoW has made possibly...
I still think if they added solo dueling arenas into Classic WoW, it would be an absolute fucking blast. It would pop off so fucking hard, I swear.
One of the most well-received versions of WoW ever by following this exact...
I think that they feel a little bit like pressured but also egotistical to be like, no, we don't want to steal from other people. We want to like do our own idea, our own thing. We want to come up with it ourselves. Like, or people will look down on us or something for some reason. I don't think anyone cares about that, right? They don't give a shit. They just want to play the game and it be fun. I don't think it even needs to be raids, man. Like, the most fun part of Fresh is the start, right? Basically, everything from level 1 up until the first raid, right, is a ton of fun. So trying to capture that and add that more in at the same time as doing the raids, having more things to do at the same time as having the raids.
Took the game we all love and fleshed out the world in the spirit of vanilla. With a more
it
horizontal
will
design,
stop the
Blizzard
whole
can make
raid logging
evergreen
shit, right?
content that will be relevant forever. And whether
'Cause
we
that's the
trust
issue,
devs
raid
to make
logging.
the right content or not can be a decision that's entirely in our hands.
It's like a soft encouragement for us to keep talking to the players and kind of steer.
Yeah, it's kind of when Classic dies, when it becomes raid logging only. So you need to kind of fill that gap, right? Where you feel like there's no need to log on other than raid logging. There needs to be a reason for you to log on other than the raid.
In the right path.
Can I just say how awesome this is? Jagex are actually giving us the ability to decide what we want in RuneScape.
Make sure that we're doing the right thing.
Considering Old School just reached its peak player count of all time, there must be something good going on with the polling system.
Polling incoming changes removes the situation we were in with incursions. You can't poll class balance changes or faction-specific changes for obvious reasons. With polling, not everyone is going to get what they want, but that's always been the case. And with polling, some people, in fact most people, will.
I know that whatever I do has to pass a poll. That's always in the back of my head. So I know I can't half-ass this.
Jagex has their finger on the pulse. They release polls to the players to help decide the future of Old School RuneScape.
And it's stopped us from making mistakes. It's stopped us from doing things that wouldn't have been good for the game. It has made content better.
Whether any of these ideas make their way into Classic Plus or not,
See you later,
ball
Billy.
is well and truly rolling. And if Blizzard wants to solve the Classic Plus dilemma, they need to start taking inspiration from people who have already dedicated years to these ideas. Because it's clear that Classic Plus isn't a
You know
pipe dream
who they could steal
It's
some shit
absolute-
from? Turtle Wow had some good ideas, for sure. There was some questionable shit as well, but there was definitely some good, fresh ideas there that they could look at. Take inspiration from. Ascension as well, yeah.
Certainty.
It's going to change everything. It's going to happen for sure. Hey, yo, 100%.
Classic Plus could be like the next big thing for WoW if it's done correctly.
The speculation that we all had about the Scarlet Raid was pretty accurate from the beginning.
You have Classic Plus that's set in Azeroth, and you're exploring the stuff that was already there.
Chat, we're in!
There needs to be more adaptation and expanding on literally what he says, right? That all of those random little zones and Easter eggs that never actually got finished, go fucking finish them. Flesh them out. Make them into something. Add more quest lines in, more fucking lore, all that shit. Right? Obviously not only that, but there's so much potential there.
There's nowhere else in all the World of Warcraft.
Pretty much every version of Classic that we have at the moment always had scores of people saying that none of it would ever happen. But people keep asking for things, and things keep happening.
I think the community just needs to reflect on what we're doing as a team and try to think about why we're doing it. Why do we have an experimental seasonal server? You know, without saying anything.
I love the idea of horizontal
I think
progression through vanilla.
there's
This
no
is
way
like
they
sort
go
of-
through this whole SOD thing, say shit like that, and then don't do Classic Plus, right? And then hire more people. Like, there's just no way, right? Like, they're surely cooking something up. So it's exciting, man. We'll see.